What's up, everybody? Welcome here to Pop Culture Philosophers. It's PCP Movie Night. It's ActionFest. And of course, it's time for the winner of the PCP Army ActionFest 2021 Keanu Reeves Edition movie poll. And that was by far Point Break. So thank you so much. I'm excited to revisit this bodacious movie tonight with my friends, with my compadres, bruz. It's the Brainiac. What's up, bro?
Station. What's up, everybody? Glad to be here.
Glad to be here, man.
Absolutely, man. I was happy you asked me to be on this one because I was telling you the other day, I realized I had not seen this movie in probably 25 years. I'd forgotten most of it. So I remembered Anthony Kiedis and his foot, but there's a lot more to this movie.
There's more to this movie than Anthony Kiedis and his foot. But speaking of Anthony Kiedis and his foot, it's Brooks. What's up, Brooks?
What's up?
Excited to talk about Point Break?
Kinda.
I love it. All right, so we're going to be joined by Jelani as the show progresses, but let's go ahead and get going. This, of course, is a 1991 film. We're talking about the original, not the remake. I've never seen the remake. You guys seen the remake?
I didn't know they did that.
Yeah, 2015.
There's Hemsworth in it or something.
I think you're thinking of when Tony Stark calls Thor Point Break. That's a whole different bit. But anyway, so in 1991, this movie was directed by Catherine Bigelow. I'm a huge Catherine Bigelow fan. She had come on the scene with things like Reckless, Into Near Dark, Into Blue Steel, and then this movie right here. It was actually written and developed beforehand by about like 4 years, and Ridley Scott was attached to direct it. Like a producer just came up with an idea. Dude, what if like somebody had to go undercover into the world of surfing? And then they hired a writer, and then 4 years later, Catherine Bigelow got involved, James Cameron, they were involved together at the time. In fact, hell, I think they were married at the time. And they kind of rewrote the script, though they're uncredited for that. And they put together this movie, Keanu Reeves, Patrick Swayze, Tori Petty, Anthony Kiedis, amongst others. There are other people that have a bigger role. Overall, I'll be honest. When this movie first came out, like I was young, and I remember watching it and always thinking it was really stupid, right? But my mom and my stepdad loved all things Patrick Swayze. My stepdad's favorite movies were like Next of Kin and Roadhouse, and my mom's favorite movies were like Dirty Dancing and this one, right? So like I didn't really get into it so much, but when I really got into Near Dark, when I was really diving hardcore into horror, some would even say over hard, into horror movies, and I got into Near Dark, and I realized who Catherine Bigelow was and found out that she had done Point Break, it caused my revisit to have a little bit more nuance to it. But I'll tell you this, man, this is a movie that I think is really good. for the most part. I think it's got incredible action sequences. I think it's got really brilliant performances. And I even think there's an attempt at a very incredibly complex male relationship going on in this movie, right? And I really like it. But at the same time, it's kind of overstuffed. It's a bit ridiculous. It's a bit cheesy. It's super cheesy, and it's not necessarily trying to be a cheesy movie. But I do think the movie is worth a rewatch, even when it goes over the top. It's saved by some really good performances and some really good directing and some really good music, in my opinion. What do you think, Brian, overall about Point Break?
Yeah, overall, yeah. So, I mean, I saw this one in the theater and everything, and I remember really liking it when it came out, mainly because of the action, and and I thought it was cool. It definitely has a lot of cool factor to it with the folks that are in it and everything like that. So, and the surfing scenes and a lot of the other scenes, they were shot really well. I mean, I thought it was shot pretty well, overall too. Yeah, I guess I must not have revisited it too many times, but yeah, I enjoyed watching it again. I say this a lot. I wasn't checking my phone. I mean, I was in it, and everything like that. So, yeah, I dug it.
Yeah, it's a fun one to revisit. It's a fun one to dig into. Keanu Reeves is still very early in his career,
Yeah.
And he hasn't. I don't even know how to describe it. Keanu is not necessarily the best actor, but he can just deliver just dull ass lines, and I just believe it. He's just like, yeah, I want to be like, that's cool. And then Patrick Swayze plays just the coolest dude in probably all of cinema. Speaking of the coolest dude, Brooks, what do you think about this film overall?
I thought it was pretty good. Like, this is my first time seeing it. I don't have any, like, I remember it, but I never watched it. And the premise of this movie just didn't pull me in. It's like, oh, there's like surfer thieves and an FBI guy going undercover and all this. It just didn't pique my interest. But this is a pretty good movie. I mean, it's good. It's got good action. I think for the most part, the actors are all good. It's got Busey, Gary Busey, the only real Busey, as far as I'm concerned.
The Busey, as they say in the industry.
And so yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
Thought it was pretty good. All right, all right,
pretty good.
I'll go with you. So let's talk about the cast real quick. Obviously, it's anchored by Keanu Reeves and of course Patrick Swayze. Patrick Swayze, I think his hair is a complete other character that we have in this film. What's a character, a performance you'd like to highlight, Brian?
I like Gary Busey in this a lot, actually. He tends to play himself, right? But he was playing, the grizzled old guy taking on the hot shot, rookie kid. He's about to give up, right? And everything, and then Keanu, pisses him off to pull him back in, which I did like that scene. I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, I really liked him, and then. I thought Patrick Swayze's character, I think part of it, because of the rewatch and getting older, and learning about more things, it was just kind of like, yeah, he was cool and super cool and everything, but he was kind of like a, almost like a disillusioned cult leader in a way too. I mean, his name is Bodhisattva, which, his nickname was Bodhisattva, right? Which is like a person that's been enlightened but stays on Earth instead of to help people on Earth. And he saw himself as bucking the system, doing all these things, but he crossed so many lines really willingly. He's
especially towards the end of the film, right? In the third act, he really just kind of shits the bed, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And he starts really going out of character. It's a one moment that I feel like the movie almost gets too intense for its own goods at times, right? But I don't know.
Yeah.
But a very brilliant performance from him and his hair in that film.
I thought he pulled his part off well. I mean, it was almost like maybe the descent into like real villainy It was kind of what we were watching in a way, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
you see like this true purpose that you can get behind, right? Trying to buck the system, trying to live, screw the bank, screw the government
on your own terms.
Yeah. Live it on your own terms. Adrenaline junkie, just chasing that high. And just going to the point where he's going to surf this major wave that one day is going to kill him probably. And he's ready for that. And I think that Patrick Swayze does a great job with this. He was heavily involved in the stunt work in this film. He was first of all offered the role of Johnny Utah, and he was like, the only character I'll play is Bodie. Like, that's the only character I'll play. And he did 55 freaking high dives or skydives for this. Like, he went head on. He had everybody on the cast go skydiving together, including Gary Busey, who doesn't even have to do it in the film, which I think is pretty amazing. So what do you think about Patrick Swayze in the role, Brooks?
I think he's definitely the most interesting character in this movie. I'd say he was the main character if he wasn't the antagonist. But he has a very interesting kind of arc to him, where he starts out just like this cool guy. He seems like he's got, he's a very together. He does what he wants to do, but he doesn't seem like sinister or anything until the switch flips on him. But I think Patrick Swayze playing a chill surfer dude was a pretty easy. It wasn't too far of a stretch, I don't think.
Not too far of a stretch, right?
Yeah.
And what's amazing to me about let's talk about his turn. When he starts like really amping it up into villainy, when he starts making those bad decisions, which are getting his bros like completely killed and got throughout the end of this film. What is that triggered for me is almost like it's such a weirdly structured movie. I'll tell you that. But the way, okay, so when they realize that Johnny Utah is an FBI agent, right? And then there's that incredible foot chase. One of the best foot chases I've seen in a film. And it ends with that, that moment where Keanu's got the gun on him and then they just stare at each other for like 30 seconds. And Keanu can't shoot him, so he just shoots in the air and screams. And that's a whole bit in Hot Fuzz that they do. That's a really interesting arc for this character. And it's almost like, because he also had the chance to kill the dude and then didn't, right? And that's just absolutely incredible to me. Speaking of incredible, it's Jelani. What's up, bro?
Hey guys, I was late. I am sorry.
It's okay, man. We'll catch you up real quick. First of all, what do you think of Point Break?
It's all right. It had its moments. Nah, it's a great action film. I mean, it's a cult classic. I watched it when I was a youth on HBO, on the HBOs. Never saw it in the theater. I thought it was a crazy movie. Gary Busey is always fantastic in his crazy films. I like him, of course, the most in Joshua in Lethal Weapon. But he's the memorable part of this movie, other than Johnny Utah in the very end of this movie, which is always insane because I wouldn't have let him go. I'd put him in jail. So, it's just it brings up one of those memories for me. So it's just one of those movies.
Nice. What do you think about we were talking about Patrick Swayze as Brody, or is
Brody.
it Brody? Bodie. As Bodie. What did you think about him and his performance?
Well, Swayze is always fantastic. It's like he took Roadhouse and then decided to go surfing.
Do you like that moment when Keanu or Johnny Utah's like, oh, I trailed him because I realized it was them, so I trailed him, and they went and they ate at the Roadhouse. Yeah, and then they went. I thought that was a really nice bit, right?
Hey. Yeah.
He didn't pick up on that this time.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. He's got. I mean, he's just the. Well, I'm sorry. At the beginning, he's cool. As this progresses. Screw that guy. I really did like him towards the end. I was like, wow, and on the rewatch.
This dude is shot up and dying. And he's like, nah, bro, we're going to strap the money to you. We're going to shove you out this
push you out,
I'll be fine by the time you land.
And by the time he lands, he's dead. He's like, let's just get the money. Let's go. Man, like you got all your friends killed. You all over that cop, all that stupid bank robber cop.
Yeah.
Oh, AC.
They were smart. This is what frustrates me about this film is that the ex-presidents were so smart about all the robberies, right? And you're like, oh man, they're really like, they build you up. Like they're so freaking good. They've done 30 of these things in 3 years. We can't even catch them. Gary Busey just randomly has this idea that they're surfers, because it he's a detective, truly obsessed. Right?
Yeah,
he found a hair and some surf wax, some sex wax, baby. So he's like, they're surfers, and I just the whole premise of this movie is fucking stupid because okay, first of all, we can talk about the carbon copy of this film that happened like 10 years later, which was Fast and Furious. We'll talk about more of that in 2 weeks, but Fast and Furious is Point Break with cars, right? But at least in this, at least in Fast and Furious, like Paul Walker was already like into like racing cars, like Keanu Reeves isn't a surfer.
He's a quarterback at Ohio State.
Yeah, but he was a quarterback at Ohio State, and Johnny Utah
quarterback going undercover.
Yeah, he's named after Joe Montana and Johnny Unitas, right? Yeah, and so that's a weird bit because like Patrick Swayze is like, yeah, I know this guy. He's a Johnny Football.
Yeah.
Basically, what a weird, crazy ass movie. Brooks, you mentioned already Patrick Swayze, but was there another character you wanted to highlight?
Actually, I like Tyler, the love interest in this movie. Actually, she seemed like pretty cool. And is the girl who plays her? Is she Tank Girl?
Yeah, that's Lori Petty.
I remember watching Tank Girl, and I hated that movie and thought she was so annoying.
Yeah, me too.
But I think she does a good job. Like her character's a lot better in this. I think she's more grounded. She seems like a pretty cool, like she would be someone cool to hang out with, Yeah. And when she first rescued Johnny from his wipeout, I thought she was the kid from the surf shop.
Oh yeah.
Like, is that kid? But then like I didn't realize it was her until like they, got to the shore and you could see her better.
She's a decent character. I don't think she has enough time to really develop in this film. And it's really creepy when like Johnny's just like watching her undress and he's like, I'm going to like hunt her down at the shrimp basket and like fucking try like make up this lie. But then he falls in love with her. Yeah, bro, this is Fast and Furious. Like, where have we seen this again? It's pretty freaking awesome. Jelani, what's a character you would like to highlight? So far, we've talked about Tori Petty in this film. We've talked about Gary Busey a little bit, but there's always room to talk about more Gary Busey and Patrick Swayze. What's a character you'd like to highlight?
God, well, I was going to go to Gary Busey because I love Gary Busey in this movie. But I guess since you guys picked him already, I guess we'll go with no, I'm not going to go
ahead with Gary Busey, bro, because I don't think we touched on it enough.
All right. Well, Gary Busey is a detective. I really appreciate how crazy and over the top and how he's willing to go. Yeah. He's willing to like totally go with whatever Johnny Utah goes with. Like let's go. Come with me to the airport so we can stop these guys. And he's like, all right. He helps him escape. He does a whole bunch of shit they did. They should have gone to jail for like together. And I'm like, oh, but he dies, and I'm sad about that.
He could have made it through this fucking movie.
Made it.
You know what I'm saying? Like, like
if the kid from Phantasm didn't shoot him in the back,
it'd be fine. From retirement.
The kid from fucking Phantasm too. Yep. Oh my god, that was Nixon. Oh, I thought I was like, he looks so fucking familiar to me.
You didn't know that? The second I saw him,
I couldn't figure it out. I was like, he looks so familiar to me. Yeah. Oh my god, it's the kid from Phantasm too.
Yeah.
Bruh, you're right.
And he was like, he just had that long hair and that gaze, and I was like, oh yeah, that's him. But yeah, he shot him in the back. That's pretty
Gary
cool. Gary
Busey did not have to die in this film.
Not at all.
He did not.
Not at all.
And another thing about this film I find very hard to believe is that Keanu Reeves, by the time that Bodhi's able to go to Australia to surf these like massive storm waves that he predicted that happened in a 50-year cycle, right?
Why is he not in jail? Why is Johnny Utah?
Why
not in
is
jail?
Johnny Utah not in jail?
Why is
Because
Johnny Utah
there's
still
nobody
an
to
FBI
back
agent?
him up. Like Gary
None.
Busey, like he
He's
was
dead.
being arrested. Gary Busey took him to that airfield. Gary Busey dies. Like when they find Johnny Utah, how the fuck is this guy able to go to Australia to try to hunt down this guy?
Because he's Johnny Utah.
So crazy. So crazy. Let's talk about Johnny Utah real quick then. Since nobody picked Keanu Reeves. What do you think about the character, Brian?
Yeah, it was I was a little bothered by the way he like used an end to get in with Lori Petty by pretending that his parents were dead. I thought that was incredibly cold.
Yeah.
That like bothered me for a while.
I don't think it's cold as an FBI agent, but I think it's cold as a lover. Like the moment you sleep with a woman, you gotta be like, look.
That's what I mean. He, and probably that character, the character probably, Johnny Utah wouldn't have been thinking he was going to fall in love with her or anything like that. But however, that did happen very quickly.
This movie's got a 2-hour runtime, right? And it doesn't have enough time. They spend a lot of time on the relationship between Bodie and Johnny and not enough on Tyler and Johnny, I think, to really make that last act sell.
Right.
That's
you
the
have
biggest
to be
problem
emotionally
for me.
invested.
Yeah.
You have to be emotionally invested in why she gets kidnapped and all that crap. Like towards the end of the movie, it's like, she's bad. She disappeared. Who cares? Yeah, I get you.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, it was a good arc for him because he, as it progressed, he was, doing the right thing. And he was, basically a better cop than Gary Busey was because they're on a stakeout and he's sitting there reading comics and he actually sees the guys go in there and start robbing the bank.
He's really into the Sundays, by the way. Like really into it.
Well, it's Calvin and Hobbes, man. I do too.
Me too.
But I don't know. And I did notice that there was another dog. We did John Wick last week and there was a dog in this one. However, it was a prop. They point that out at the end of the credits, by the way. They say that wasn't a dog, it was a prop.
I do not buy that. First of all, one of the best foot chases I've ever seen in a film, aside from Raising Arizona. And like I do not buy that this dude just randomly picks up a fucking pit bull and is able to throw him on
big of a dog.
Exactly.
What do you think about
he's in good shape, but
what do you think about Johnny Utah, Brooks?
I think he's all right. He's a very kind of typical action hero, young guy, action hero, like rookie cop type. But I do like he has that interesting arc of where like he gets into the thing, like he goes undercover to learn about the thing, but he actually starts to enjoy surfing. He makes friends, and then he thinks like, oh, these dickheads, they must be the guys I'm looking for. But then he ends up being the guys that he does like.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a pretty interesting idea to do with a kind of very straight-laced, typical hero type like that. Is have him like, get that close to the guys that he's eventually going to have to,
take down,
arrest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a really cool conflict that's in this movie because he starts learning to surf, and through Tyler he gets introduced to the bank robbers, but he doesn't know it. He thinks it's these really obvious punk ass fucking surfers, right, with Anthony Kiedis involved in their clique, but it's not. And the one problem is once they try to take down that other bit, and that's a crazy ass action scene because you get like naked ass women like fucking like all over the place and like stabbing people jumping through fucking windows and it goes crazy. But the moment that they're like, oh, it's not them, he's just walking to go surf with his homies and he's like, it's them. Like it was a weird moment where he realized that it was them, but it was because
his pants down.
Yeah,
he's like,
that's the theme of the movie is don't literally show your ass when you're committing crimes.
I've seen that.
That's by the way, I really think you see all of that ass in this, like all of it. You see the asshole. I think
the whole ass.
So you see a whole ass, which is rather rambunctious to me. What do you think about Johnny Utah in this film? By the way, Swayze popped his knee filming the fucking football scene.
Of course he did. Of course he did. I mean, how easily he falls in line with these guys, though. These guys like him immediately. He's just one of the guys. Like he didn't even know really how to surf. And I still like his character. I like how, he's a fish out of water, but he turns like really, they just take a liking to him immediately. And it's him. It's Keanu Reeves. He's a likable dude. If we bumped into him on the street, we want to hang out with him, right?
Yeah, and if we bumped into Patrick Swayze, we would want to go surfing with him.
We go surfing with him. Yeah. So it's kind of those things where they just kind of found each other, and it kind of he gravitated to those people, and then realized that they're bank robbers because he still has that nose.
Yeah.
For what it is, and he's like, okay, so they are surfers, so I'm gonna find some surfers. I need to find some people that have an endless summer that they need to take care of. We need to bankroll this endless summer, and it felt like those other guys, of course, but I think they were much worse. I think the dudes that they stopped were much worse. Other than they needed to find
they actually mentioned that they're Nazis, so yeah, they should be.
Yeah,
worse,
they
right?
should be worse.
At least Patrick Swayze, they may be robbing banks, but at least they're not fucking Nazis.
Right, they're not Nazis.
They never kill anybody. That's
till the end,
like
right?
The operation is so smooth that they just get in and get out, and nobody gets hurt. Nobody really loses much anything because like they say, the money's insured. So they're really not.
But they started hitting the vault. They hit the vault that last time, and then that cop got crazy and
it's because it's about the adrenaline rush, man, and that's why Bodhi and Johnny bond. That's Bodhi sees that in him. That's why he can't just take care of business. As soon as he shows up and pulls out on them, and he's like, FBI stop, when they're robbing that bank, and he's there staking it out. Bodhi stops that one dude from shooting him. Because it's obvious that it's him now, right? It's just
they know who he is.
The turn happens so fucking quick, and it just then we're left with the aftermath. We don't get quite that emotional punch there, but that relationship to me is incredibly well done. It's a very, very complex relationship because it's not just a bromance. It's really almost a near romance, bro. I'm trying not to put my foot in my mouth right now, but this is an incredibly homoerotic type thing that's written here. And there are moments where certain people may meet certain dudes and have a certain bond that they just don't understand, that maybe it's more than it actually is. But bruh, I'm not even kidding you. There is some sexual tension in the midst of Patrick Swayze and Keanu Reeves in this film for me. But maybe I'm reading into it. Maybe I'm just wishing. Maybe it's just.
It is just Johnny's betrayal is what sets Bodhi off.
Right.
This dude, he barely knows, but this betrayal just fucking
totally wrecks him. Well, first of all, Catherine Bigelow's directing this, so this is a movie about masculinity from the perspective, or from the direction, I should say, of a woman, right? So a man wrote this, but Catherine Bigelow and James Cameron did a lot of rework on the script. But what the hell is that?
I have no idea. Is it a plane or something?
That's nuts. Who lives near the airport? Anyway, I think that this is an intentional kind of lay in there, and I don't think it's anything nefarious. I think it's a real thing that Catherine Bigelow is trying to turn. I don't know. There's something there. There's something there, man. There's something there. Even the idea that Tyler's I think barely in it, and the idea that Tyler's his ex, it's almost there's just weird connotations there that I think are not weird, but I think they're expressive, homoerotic. I think it's totally in here, 100%. I really would honestly say that the reason why they don't kill each other is because they love each other. Really, I think they're developing that bond, and I don't know what Catherine's trying to say, because I looked up a lot of interviews with her, and all she talked about was the technical aspects of the film, but that's in there. That's in the story. I mean, that's just me. My favorite character, you guys already mentioned it many times. Gary Busey. To me, he's the heart of the film. since I can't say him because you guys already picked him, I will say my favorite characters are the 2 meatball sandwiches. I want to see more of them, honestly. He sold those meatball sandwiches to me. I thought they were going to be amazing. Let's talk about the style and structure of the film. I think Catherine Bigelow did a great job of directing this. Like I said, it's got one of the best foot chases I've ever seen. The car chase is dope. It's technically very well done, well crafted. The bank robbery scenes are great. The surfing scenes look good. By the way, I was watching some Olympic surfing this morning because I watched Point Break last night. And dudes, I would love to surf, but there's no way I'm going to be able to do it. I can't even kneeboard, but I really I think it amps the style of this film. It's got this action, right? That's incredibly technically well done. But then it has this, like, especially, we'll get to the music later, but Catherine Bigelow, like in movies like, say, Restless or even Hurt Locker or Near Dark especially, lets the music, lets the atmosphere, lets the cinematography, lets the landscape kind of carry some mood. Do you know what I'm saying? And like, there are just moments of seeing the ocean and moments where the music kind of gets softer and just throws the pacing off a little bit that really, really just nails it for me. What do you think about style and structure of this film, Brian?
Yeah, I thought it was good. Really good. I think that's why I liked the movie originally, really, is just the way it was made, the action scenes, they were super good. I mean, the way they filmed all the skydiving stuff was pretty cool, but yeah, I've never surfed in my life. I have some friends that do it, and in a way they get that same kind of mindset though, where it's just, you get obsessed with it. And I can see that, getting in that motion and things like that, but I don't have that kind of coordination. Yeah, those surfing scenes were just phenomenal, actually. But yeah, we keep hitting on the action. I really like that fight scene in the house with Anthony Kiedis and those guys. I thought that one was super cool, man. Even though it kind of ended with him, with the lawnmower, I thought that was a little weird stretch at the end of the scene there. However,
weird stretch, baby.
Yeah, all the stuff going on in the house and everything, like I was tense, man, and I'd seen it before. I mean, I knew what happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like that comment too, because I was thinking about that. They were playing on the presidents and everything like that. That was really cool.
Why Gerald Ford get left out? Why they skip over to LBJ?
Well,
because they're like, Gerald Ford just doesn't make a good mask. I'm sorry,
wasn't president long enough, I guess. Didn't have much of an impact.
It's a president by default, right?
Yeah, but yeah, I will say some of the story stuff was a little off-putting and everything like that. But I mean, at its core, is an action movie, and like you're saying, I mean, it was more about the relationships between the characters.
What do you think about what I was saying? Like, do you think there's something more to that relationship between Bodhi and Johnny? Because I really, honestly, I feel that in this movie.
I see what you're saying with their connection was super deep, super fast and everything, but I didn't pick up on the homoerotic thing, but
you never missed.
It wasn't there. Yeah. I'm just saying, I didn't
think shot him
that while I was watching it, but I mean, no, it's definitely the way you phrase that is like, I saw that as well. That deep connection and everything was basically kind of the story.
Dude, bro, they have a spiritual connection, and maybe it goes deeper than sex. I mean, I'm not just talking about like a homoerotic.
No,
like
you mean like
thing. I mean like
relationship.
Like,
well, the whole idea of him making him do the robbery with him, like basically making him become a criminal, is kind of like something like a crazy ex would do to try and make you kind of force somebody to come back.
Yeah,
like you have to be with me now because we're in the same boat. You can't go back. You can't go back to the FBI. You're a criminal now. So like, that's kind of how I saw that.
Yeah, I agree. That. Well, what do you think about the style and structure, Brooks?
I think it's got good style and structure. It's a good action movie. Everything looks like that. All the action scenes look good. Like the skydiving looks cool. It looks, it makes like
the skydiving is so realistic. Like even the parts where they're not actually skydiving, I can't tell until I watch like a documentary about it. Like I thought everything was done like for real. Like, and they're actually skydiving. Those actors are. Gary Busey skydived, and he wasn't even skydiving in the fucking film. But like, there are moments where they're like, it's like I've seen other movies where actors are skydiving and it's so obviously fake. This one, even the fake bits look so real, right, Brooks?
Yeah, and like it makes surfing and skydiving look like super fun too. Like you watch it and be like, man, that would be fucking pretty cool to learn to surf and catch like a huge ass wave. And like you feel like the king shit if you could just catch one good wave, you know, and ride it all the way in. Or you feel like you were flying, if you just jumped out of an airplane with your buddies and like just we're in free fall for like 10 minutes.
Hell yeah, right? No shit. And then you'll always be chasing that rush. That's the whole point of it, right?
Yeah.
So, Jelani, what do you think about the style and structure of the film?
I myself will never skydive because no way in hell I'm jumping out of anything and then the chute don't open. Screw that noise. I will never die. But I love the style of this movie. It is action packed from beginning to end. There's not really any real slow moments that I thought were in this film. There's just a lot of work with how the stretch they come to find these guys, but it's shot beautifully. I mean, every scene is clean. I especially I love the skydiving scene. We're gonna keep talking about that, but I absolutely love that. It makes them bond, even though he knows that this is the guy that's betraying us. He's like, anyway, we're gonna skydive anyway, and have fun and learn how to do this. And it's such a cool scene. And then even I keep going back to that ending. The ending is crazy because Johnny Utah should be in jail, but B, the fact he chased him for like a year to find him at this particular point, and how they shot it to where I guess they waited for an actual storm.
They said they filmed that. They filmed that in Hawaii. And they because it's a place known for super huge waves, and no big waves had come for 2 years. And they got lucky because they went there and they actually had these huge swells. So, and then they got, that was not actually Patrick Swayze.
No, I didn't think it was.
His stunt double was one of the best surfers in the world. And he didn't get to show off his skill because his whole point was that he was supposed to wipe out in it. So
yeah, he was supposed to jump into the waves and be like,
I think he could have actually done it. I think it was what I picked up and what I watched was that he could have done it, but his whole job was to not do it.
Not do that. Yeah.
But apparently that kind of a way for a super professional, which you get the idea that maybe Bodie is.
Like maybe Bodie could have rode the wave in, but he decided not to.
Right.
Since he couldn't spend his life with Johnny, he's like, what's the point of going on?
I can't live if living is
so
without
he rides the wave and a unicorn
That's how
shows
Johnny
up.
knew that he was going to die. He's like,
and it's that tattoo that we've all seen. The problem I have with the structure is that I think the turn happens too quick. Like they all find out about each other way too quick. And then the story just turns and it's still trying to act like everything's okay. Like, that they know that that they know that you are who they are and they are what, right?
Like everybody knows everybody.
They have this really tense scene where they keep shifting the backpack.
The backpack, yeah.
And if you notice, Keanu winds up with the one that he had the first time, right? So, but that's a great scene. I think structurally, it does like ramp up too much from that point on. It's like, oh shit. They spend a lot of time building this idea up, this world up, and it's a tough thing to do. You got to show that Keanu Reeves learns how to surf overnight, falls in love overnight, and then falls in love with this dude overnight, and then have the turn because this movie has like 4 fucking endings. That's another problem with this movie, and I love the ending of this film, but it takes a few endings to fucking get there. I'm just gonna say it, okay? This is a little Return of the King. Where it just ends. Oh, no. We're keeping going. And it ends. Oh, no. Oh, and then no. One more time. And there you go. So overall, one of the things that is the most brilliant thing to me about the style of this film is the score. It's Michael Isham. And he had done, you ready for this? The Hitcher, A River Runs Through It, Of Mice and Men, Crash, The Lucky One, Once Upon a Time, but in particular, this is the composer of the score of Blade. Yeah. I freaking love this score.
I get it.
It's got this synthy kind of bit to it. Now, originally this movie was called Johnny Utah, right?
I'm glad they changed it.
Yeah, they changed it. They changed it to Riders on the Storm or Riders of the Storm, right? And then they were like, it has nothing to do with that Doors song, but that is a cool title. With you think about how the end is, and then they went with Point Break because that's a surfing term. It's like where the wave hits the land that causes it to break or something like that, right? That's the point of the break or something. So okay, but the music is amazing. It's kind of synth driven at times. It's very slow. This is a style I find that composers do with Catherine Bigelow. I don't know how much Catherine has to do with the score, with the composition of it. I know some directors are very hands-on, but a lot of her movies have the same kind of approach to the score, where it's synthy, it's a little slow, and it allows these key visual moments to carry the emotional narrative of the film, if that makes sense. And I think the music really, really does that in such a fantastic way. What do you think about the music, Brian?
This is going to be somewhat of a cop-out. I didn't notice the score very much, which in one way is good because it wasn't distracting me away from the scenes. So, whatever it was doing was working, but it didn't jump out at me, honestly, like a lot of scores do. So, I mean, it didn't distract me from anything. So, I think it worked for the scenes and everything.
All right, Brian, how long have we here at PCP been doing PCP Movie Night?
You guys have done it a lot. Yeah.
Every week, pretty much, except for like last week, which was your first PCP Movie Night for a while. We talk about the music, but last week we didn't for John Wick. So we'll forgive it. Brooks, what do you, just a little bit. Brooks, what do you think about the music in this film?
It's okay, Brian. He does this all the time.
By the way, just so anybody wants to know, every Friday night we will talk about the fucking music of the film. Okay, so pay
more attention next time, man. Dang.
There's also some actual soundtrack stuff too, not just the score. That's pretty good.
The Jimi Hendrix.
I was gonna say,
which was
it makes sense when you said it was started in 1987. That's probably why they used Rat.
Yeah, right. At the end. Hey, here's what I'm saying, Brian. I asked you about the music, and you didn't even once mention the most obvious thing. If any music pulled you out, it's when Jimi Hendrix started playing, man.
Yeah.
At a party, the most gnarly surfer party you've ever seen, and that's the Jimi Hendrix song they're playing, which is one of the that's so bluesy. It's so weird. Such a weird stretch.
Yeah, true.
But you've lost your chance. What about you, Brooks? Talk about it.
I think the soundtrack was pretty good in this movie. I mean, it wasn't particularly memorable to me, but it fits. And that Hendrix song was in there, which was cool. Like anytime you throw Jimi Hendrix in a movie, it's always good. And I like that they didn't go too into the the typical kind of surfer kind of music sound, I think that would have kind of been would have messed with, I guess, the mood of the movie in a way.
Yeah, it's got a tone. It's got an atmosphere, and the music that they pick outside of the composition for the actual soundtrack works. Even that Jimi Hendrix song, lyrically works for that scene, but it doesn't work for a surfer party. I'm just going to say that, okay? Yeah. But one of the cool things with the music too is they don't use too much of it, and the movie, including the music, doesn't really feel dated, which is really crazy. This movie's 1991, and actually, I think in 2021, 20 years later, 30 years later, this movie's 30 years old.
Yeah, 30 years old, man.
This movie actually still feels this is still my concept of what Californian surfers are like, so
they should do a Bodie versus the Surf Ninjas movie.
Oh shit.
God.
Bro, let's do it. And there were no sequels to any of the Surf Ninjas. It's the
Bodie
original.
Somehow survived. Washes up with no memory.
Jelani, what do you think about the music?
The Surf Ninjas.
It was pretty mellow, surprisingly, for an action film. I did want to point that out. The soundtrack it feels out of place, but not out of place. I did notice it. It was just there. It was just kind of there. But yeah, it was kind of weird to play Jimi Hendrix at a party for surfers. We will throw that out again because
that
it's
song in particular. If it was fire, I could, because people are dancing like this.
Yeah,
and it's
they're
like,
losing their mind. Was it playing, or did they play that later in like post production where they played that song? Or
they're like, what song can we get?
They were probably playing the Chili Peppers, right?
They were like, we can't get that Chili Pepper song because Anthony Kiedis doesn't like how he went out.
Yep.
They say that Anthony Kiedis didn't show up for the first day of the stunt fight coordination. So that's why, like, the stunt coordinator was like, I don't care who the fuck you are. You're getting punched out and you're getting shot in the foot.
Yep. Sounds about right. That sounds about right.
I think that's great. What's this movie trying to say? What? Oh, go ahead, Jelani.
No, nothing. Music's all right. There you go.
All right. I like how it takes those moments because there's a lot of moments where you see the waves and they're just out there and the music just kind of swells up. It gives me that near dark kind of vibe, man. I think Bigelow has a lot of say in how it works out. What do you think about the theme, Brian? What's this movie trying to say? It's let me be honest. It's trying to say a lot, but what does it actually say?
Well, I mean, I know I said it earlier, but I think the theme is if you're committing crimes, don't literally show your ass. You're going to get caught. You know, I mean, that was their downfall. But no, really, no, I just thought the theme was, or what I picked up on themes were, you know, trying to live on your own terms and everything like that out, you know, outside the system and everything. It, you know, comes with a cost, you know, and it spiraled out of control to where, you know, because if you want to live outside the system, you still aren't, you know, that doesn't, you know, like mean you just take whatever you want, you know, and you know, treat other lives as, you know, meaningless and things like that. You know, I mean, it's just kind of, it was an ideal that he was like, you know, Patrick Swayze was going for, and he was bringing all these people along for the ride, you know, with his charisma and everything. And it went so very wrong, you know. So,
That's the cult leader aspect that you mentioned earlier, right?
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that was kind of, I don't know. That's what I took from it. Theme.
Nice. Nicely put. Nicely put. Speaking of cult leaders, Brooks, what do you think about the meaning of this film?
I think this movie's kind of a cautionary tale about going too far. You know, especially considering, like, you know, when you're someone who's a thrill seeker, who's into danger and stuff, like, as long as you know what you're doing, you know, you can usually skirt death. But the minute you decide you're going to try and, you know, go that little extra bit, you invite disaster. Because, like, you know, the whole idea of the ex-presidents are so successful because they don't overreach. They don't get greedy.
Right.
They just take money from the drawers. They never try the vault. They get in and out super quick. But then Bodie, like, changes it up and he's like, no, we're going for the vault this time. And, you know, everything goes to shit. And then, like, you know, and even in the end, like, the wave, like, Bodie's taken on something that he's not prepared for, you know, something, he's reaching too far.
Yeah.
Yep.
And sometimes when you do that, you get got.
It's a cautionary tale about the weird stretch and cooking your eggs over hard.
Yes. Yes. That's a better way to put that.
Yeah. Jelani, what do you think this movie's about? What's it saying to you?
I mean, I agree with all of you guys so far. It's basically living life to the fullest. But you can't take it too far. It is one of those, it's just one of these films where you do want to find the extreme. You want that rush. You want that to happen, but at the cost. How does it play into your cost? What makes your life so empty that you need to fill it with this thrill? Why is there such a hole in your life that you can't fill it that way? It's just very strange that, you know, people do certain things like that, because people do this all the time. You know, people go out and do this all the time. That Bear Grylls guy drinks his own pee in the woods. So, I mean, it's just stuff that, you know, you push yourself to the limit and see how far your limits go.
He just eats fucking fish too. Just like grabs them and eats them. I'm like, I don't think that's sushi grade, my friend.
No. You're supposed to cook that. You're supposed to cook it. So I mean, yeah, it's stuff like that. It's just taking things to another level.
Yeah.
To fill that void. And you shouldn't, I don't think you should do that. I think you should just live your life, but live your life without trying to kill yourself. That's all it is. That's all I can see.
Lame.
You guys are all saying the same thing that I'm about to say, but I'm going to say it in a slightly different way. 3 things. Number 1, just live your life. Hey. Instead of chasing the paper, right? If they would have not chased the paper, not gone to the vault, and just like it is with the comic book fan, once you go into Vault Comics, you're going to be spending 30, 40, 50 extra dollars a month on comic books. So if you go to the vault, it's going to cost you, right? So there's that lesson. It's about addiction. It's about that thrill seeking.
Yep.
And people, when you're dealing with addiction, whether it's sex, drugs, booze, surfing, adrenaline, like you're always moving to the next push. Patrick Swayze's trying to prove a point to Keanu Reeves and at the same time implicate him so that he can't do anything about it, right? Mm-hmm. And he's trying to prove a point. He's pushing it. And that's what they're doing when they're falling together and they're like, no, you pull the cord. No, you pull the cord. No, you pull the cord. No, bro, the only way this is going to happen is if you shoot me in the head or you pull the cord. Like, it's about pushing it. It's about that.
Take it to the limit.
Right? And it takes you to this idea of, especially when you deal with addiction, but when you deal with anything in life, you can't say, this is on my terms, right? You have to be willing to let go at times because there are plenty of moments in this movie where it could have ended and it wouldn't have been near as entertaining. Patrick Swayze keeps pushing it, push it. Like you said, like push it to the limit. And Rick Ross, said it best, but like, that's a cautionary tale. It's about being dissatisfied, feel like, and the other thing is, who wants to be a cog in the fucking machine? Nobody does. The reason why I'm sitting here on YouTube talking about fucking movies, because I don't want to be a cog in the machine. I work at a comic shop. I talk about movies here on YouTube, right? I don't want to be a banker. I don't want to be an insurance salesman. I don't want to be an engineer. I don't want to be, I just want to do something. I don't want to hate my life. With my expertise, the ideal job for me is like a manager at fucking Target. I don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck that, man. I want to buck the system.
It's for squares, bro.
Yeah, it's for squares. Yeah. I don't want to be a square, but I'm not so full of myself to think that the way that I'm going to go against squares is to go and fucking ride the biggest wave in the fucking world or go rob banks and keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. But we all, in our own ways, sometimes in our own self-destructive ways, we do keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. And sometimes it takes a big to just stop you dead in your tracks. But overall, I think that's what this movie's about. And I think it's about just freedom. Like, what is freedom and how misaligned our goals and our ideals can be when we're trying to seek that freedom. That makes sense?
Yeah, it does. Well, yeah.
And that's the Hendrix song they should have used.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I was going to say that, like, bringing up the addiction angle is pretty interesting. Also, and, his name is Bodhisattva. So, like, he treats these things as a spiritual experience.
Yeah. Tell us about this. This movie has a spiritual side to it. And there's a Buddhism aspect behind the name, right? Is that what you're getting into, Brian?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that, he was, but it was like the adrenaline was his spiritual experience. Right. And that's what kind of addiction really kind of is. And when Jelani, when you said, what kind of hold do you have, that's what you're doing with adrenaline, drugs, or any of these other things is they're pseudo spiritual experiences. And they don't last very long.
It's a shortcut, right? It's a shortcut.
In a way, they're not earned, right? So
right.
they don't, that's, I don't know. Yeah. Wow. It's pretty
Man,
deep.
That's really fucking deep. I think we went deeper on Point Break than I thought we were going to go. So this movie, I think this actually affects me. Plus, I'm actually playing it on screen right now, and I just looked up. It's the moment where the chick in the thong opens the door to Gary Busey, And I was just like, man, this movie's way better than I thought it was. Anyway, It's time to rate the film out of 5 possible you digs. You out there in the chat, what do you know? What do you think about Point Break? What do you give it out of 5 you digs? Brian, I'm throwing it to you. What do you give it, man?
Man, I did not come prepared. I think I'll go with 4 with the action alone and everything. That puts it up there for me. So because there's definitely issues in my mind with the story and everything like that. But honestly, I didn't really care. I mean, the way it looked and the way it was, a lot of the stuff was presented and everything, and the acting in it. I'm not going to say it was like far and away the best acting or anything, but like I was bought into like Patrick Swayze's character, Gary Busey, and there were some stock characters.
Those are the 2 best performances. Gary Busey and Patrick Swayze. For sure.
Well, I mean, we mentioned it earlier, but I still feel like Keanu at this stage in his career is finding his way. Like
he is, and he's committed to the bit, right? Like we were talking about that last week with John Wick. Like when he learned how to actually shoot guns that well, he learned how to surf for this movie.
Yeah. So,
I just got to the point where Keanu Reeves got shot in the foot. What a wild ass scene to be put in the middle of all the. What did I say? Who did I say?
Keanu Reeves.
You said Keanu Reeves.
Man. Oh yeah, Anthony Kiedis. What a random ass scene where all of a sudden there's like people jumping through walls, women fucking like running around stabbing people with their tops off. Really, really weird. So 4 you digs, I think, is really respectable for this film. What about you, Brooks?
I'd give it a 3. I thought this movie was all right. Like, it is, to me, it's pretty good. It's a good action movie. Like, it's a movie I could see myself revisiting and maybe liking a bit more on like rewatches. But like my first impression of watching is like, it's good, but it's not like, it's not gonna change your life, you might say.
It's amazing to me that this was your first time watching this film. So Brooks gives it a 3. What about you, Jelani? And you out there in the chat, throw out your scores.
I guess I'm going with Brooks. I'm going to go with 3 as well. Because I mean, it's good. It is. There's no denying it. It's Point Break. Keanu did commit to the bit. He does work well. Gary Busey is fantastic in this film. I absolutely adore him. Swayze is also great. But like I said, in this rewatch, I started to like him less because he's just such a dick at the end. Like it's out of it. I don't remember this, but I was like, wow, he's a dick at the end. And I really don't like it. I'm glad. I really wish like he watched his wave go away and he was arrested. Like I really wish that had happened because of all the crap he put people through and I got all his friends killed and got Gary Busey killed. I would have arrested him on the spot. I'd have slammed him on the ground, like, screw you, sucker. You done, sucker. You going to jail. And you watch that wave. You watch that wave go away. And we walk, and he drives away and he's like looking at the waves. He's like, they did my life to the fullest. I'm like, smack him in the head. And like, shut up. Yeah, I totally been a cop on here. So 3. totally 3.
All right. Yeah. For me, I'm going to go 3.5. I like the film. I think it's good. I like it more. It seems like I like this film the more and more I watch it. Gary Busey is great. Patrick Swayze is great. Keanu Reeves is okay. Lori Petty is okay, I guess. The dude from The Office, by the way, is in this film. He's like that super turned up to 11 cop, like captain or whatever. Like he's turned to 11 the entire fucking time.
He's in Scrubs too.
The Office too.
I meant Scrubs. Why did I say The Office?
Scrubs.
I'm sorry.
He's my favorite character on Scrubs.
Yeah, Dr. Cox.
I go 3. Okay. I go 3.5. I think it's all right. I think the action scenes are really, really good. I think the point is trying to make us really good. I think the style is good. I just think the story it's got some weird moments structurally for me. It's got too many endings. And the turn happens too quick. There's not enough time developed to the story of Johnny and Tyler, I think. And there's some nuances there that I like and appreciate, but I think if done today, Catherine Bigelow would have done it in a different way, but this was a different point in her career. So 3.5 from me, 4.0 from Brian, and a 3.0 from Brooks and Jelani for a PCP average of 3.69, dudes. Hell yeah. All right, let's see what the chat says. Dun, 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 dun. Went back too far. 62 says 4.69, dudes. James says 5 you digs.
Wow.
Eddie says my wife gives it 4.5. I don't know what that means.
She likes
Albert
It's got
says
Patrick Swayze and Keanu Reeves in it.
yeah, probably. Alfred says 5 you digs. Let's see. Cerebro says 4 you digs for me. A lot of sentimentality for me. Watched this all the time as a kid. The Collector P says it's a 4-star fun movie, in my opinion. Hell yeah. Survivor Man was way cooler. I don't know. Survivor Man turned out to be bullshit, right? Didn't they like prove that that was fake?
What is Survivor Man?
Yeah, Survivor Man. Like he had like a that was another Discovery Man, like Discovery Survivor type when Man vs. Wild came on.
Oh,
I think they proved that he had like a camera crew that was like feeding him and shit or something.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know. But
you're not supposed to feed him. You're not supposed to feed Bear Grylls.
I think Point Break's better than both Survivor Man and Man vs. Wild, but that's just me. So
Man vs. Wild is
there you go. There is our review of Point Break, and that's the movie that y'all chose for the Keanu Reeves PCP Army ActionFest movie poll. Y'all stay tuned because we got ActionFest next week. You ready? We're going to be joined by Perry from Perry Comics for next week's movie. And I'm so excited. This was last year for ActionFest. We did the Mission Impossible franchise, and we talked about how shit Mission Impossible 2 was, about how good John Woo was. So we're not going to review the best John Woo movie. We're going to review another ridiculous John Woo film, and Face Off is the movie for next week, y'all. So be ready, because I'm going to take your face completely off. Before that, though, we got Dylan's Horror Show tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Central Time over at Dylan's Horror Show. Link in the description. We're talking about George A. Romero and Stephen King's Creep Show. Hope you join us, but also join us Monday night for a very special edition of ActionFest PCP Movie Night, joined by Bob, Bullseye Bob, that is, from Everything Comics. We'll be talking about Shogun Assassin. Very excited for that. And Rockin' Robbie Live on Sunday night at 7 p.m. Central Time. I will be revealing in a 4-hour show the entire lineup for PCP Horror Fest. So y'all are not going to want to miss that. All right, y'all, we're dipping out. We're going to take a quick break. But when we come back, it's PCP Back Chat. A little bit of show and tell. Hang Loose. What is it? Yeah, that's Hang Loose.
Hang 10.
Hang 10?
Hang
10.69, dude!
Julian's hiding behind his picture.
Yeah. I guess the music ran out.
I can smell your fear.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to PCP Back Chat. Thank you guys for keeping it going. Didn't seem like you guys did a good job, but thank you, Brooks and Brian.
Yeah, we
How are
really
y'all doing?
fucked this one up, didn't we?
Yeah.
I mean,
It
it's
surprised
just
me when it came back. I was like, oh, okay.
Eddie, by the way, says, I've only seen it once. I'd probably give it a 3. Need to rewatch. All right. There you go. How are y'all doing? What have you guys been up to today? Brian, what you been up to today? Anything exciting?
Nothing exciting. No. I took the afternoon off. Took a nap for a little bit. Yeah, no, nothing exciting. You know.
Brooks, anything exciting happened to you today?
I was on a tractor most of the day. I was working in the hayfield. I did get stung by a hornet on my hand, and it's like all swole up and shit.
Oh, great.
Like, he got me, like, popped me right on my middle finger. It's one of these hornets that causes like this allergic reaction that makes my shit swell up. So I had to take a Benadryl.
Dang.
Wow, that's
exciting.
probably
I'm writing a Greek tragedy about it.
Yeah. There you go.
Due out next year sometime. It's a musical,
PCP
too.
Army. PCP Army. Throw out a question. What do you want to talk about? Jelani, anything exciting happened to you today?
A couple things, but they're in show and tell. So
Ooh.
yeah, it was pretty awesome. What happened? Just little things, stuff.
Well, get to
Did a
it.
bunch of movie.
He says, nice sippy cup.
Thank you. It's got White Claw in it. Don't
Really?
ask the story about White Claw.
White Claw's fine. It's all right.
No, it's not. It's really not. They were given to me. Well, actually, they were gifted to me. Actually, it's a fun story. Since the pandemic has been going on, like, for some reason, like, I get these fun gifts at my front door because people don't know addresses from all these, food services and stuff. So I got a whole turkey, like a whole spiced turkey breast, ramen noodles, like an entire case of ramen noodles, the Dinty Moore beef stew in cans, and a pack of White Claws. So I'm eating this is left on my doorstep.
Randomly at your doorstep.
Randomly at my doorstep. So I'm just like, I'm not a fan of White Claws, but I mean, I'll get a little tipsy. I mean, it's basically water. What am I to do with this? So I'm drinking
It's
it
alcoholic water, I guess. So
You
Travis,
whining about free water.
Travis,
Yeah.
and
I'm not
free
whining
Denny
about it.
Moore's beef stew.
Yep.
It's proof that Jelani can whine about anything.
Travis
Damn
wants
straight.
to
Free
know,
water, I got socks.
did you guys see the Ghostbusters trailer? I did, and
Yeah.
I'll share my thoughts tomorrow morning. I'll share a little bit tonight, but
I thought you were gonna be all like Finn Wolfhard. Yeah.
yeah, I don't like that kid. I feel like if I saw him in real life, I'd punch him in the face and get arrested. But I just don't like that kid. Jelani, you saw it. What do you think?
I loved it. Oh my god. It's better than the 2016 Ghostbusters. The bait and switch. It's a lot better than that. This trailer was to me, I liked the first trailer that they did before the pandemic hit. I absolutely love that trailer. I'm into the Ghostbusters. I love the Ghostbusters. I love the first and the second one. The second one more so because of the slime and all the other stuff that's involved. But I love those guys. And the fact that A, they're going to be in this. B, Egon is well represented with his children and his family. And the fact that they hide the Ecto-1 along with all the Ghostbuster stuff in this house, in this creepy house. I love the premise of it. I love your boy. Now I can't remember his name. Ant-Man. I don't know why I can't remember his name. Paul. I don't know why I forgot Paul Rudd's name.
Paul Rudd.
Yeah, the fact he lives forever. I love everything about it. I can't wait to see it. I want to see it in the theater. I know it's not going to suck. I have with this one trailer, you can mark my words. I'm pretty sure this is going to be a decent sequel to Ghostbusters. So I'm about that life. That's me.
All right. Brooks, you see it yet?
I did not. I hadn't heard of it. There was a new trailer.
It came out like Tuesday or Wednesday or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should check it out, man.
I haven't seen anything about it.
You should check it out sometime.
It's awesome,
Brian, you see it?
I haven't seen it, but I love the Ghostbusters franchise too. Did you guys ever play that video game that they
the spiritual sequel? I never played it.
Yeah, about 11 years ago.
It.
I want to say.
Yeah.
I want to say it was right around 2009, 2010. It like,
it's
fully voice acted by all the guys
3.
and everything like that. And
yeah,
that was a whole lot of fun, man. It was pretty good game mechanics and everything too, where you had to like, use the guns and not cross the streams and all that other stuff and everything. That was actually, I really enjoyed that one. So
there was no Ghostbusters NES though.
I was about to say it's better than the NES Ghostbusters for sure. I played a little bit of it. I never made it all the way through. That was PS3 days. That was the last new system I had was a PS3 actually, guys. Isn't that weird? Isn't that sad? Anyway,
not much.
You're better off.
Gamers.
I have a PS3.
I'm done with this console bullshit.
I tried playing the NES Ghostbusters after watching the Angry Video Game Nerds review, and fuck that game. That game's stupid as shit, bro. Like I run out of gas every fucking time. Like I can't even. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. It's not a good game, y'all.
But I did see a still that Finn Wolfhard is in the movie, and so
hey, I'm going to share my thoughts.
I didn't realize there was a trailer. I should probably watch it.
I'm going to share my thoughts tomorrow morning in the weekly pop culture wrap up. But for the most part, I'll just say my initial reaction is this. So it's going to be a team of kid Ghostbusters.
I'm fine with that.
I don't know if I am, but at the same time, I got to realize this. I don't think that the original Ghostbuster film was made for kids, but I think that kids really liked it because I was a kid when that movie came out and we loved it. All of us, right?
Yeah, right. Song and everything.
It's Egon's kids. That's the whole point.
But here's the thing. I get it. I get that. I'm just saying, like,
Egon's kids.
Now they're making a Ghostbusters movie, probably actually directed towards kids. So it seems very Steven Spielbergian, and I think that's cool. I mean, the original Ghostbusters was a comedy. I'm on board. I'm excited to see what's going to happen. And it looks like
better in 2016. That's all I can say. It's a lot better already.
Well, I mean, but that's a low bar to set.
Yeah, 2016 is an easy target.
Yeah, that's too easy, bro. You know, we don't really. I mean, that's punching down. That's punching down.
I don't give a crap. I give 0 craps. I'm glad I saw that trailer. I'm glad I saw it in 2019. I was like, hell yeah, I'm about this life. And then I see this new one. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm about this life.
See, when I first saw the first teaser, I was like, oh, Paul Rudd's going to be a Ghostbuster. And then I was like, oh, no, it's just these 4 kids are going to be Ghostbusters.
They're bringing the gang back, man. The toys spoiled it. They got
toys like a junior Ghostbusters from the animated series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're going to be back. The original Ghostbusters are going to be back. And it's going to be the kids. And it's going to be Paul Rudd. It's going to be awesome. I'm so happy they're driving Ecto-1 through a wheat field. I don't know why. It's just, it's nostalgic. I know they're not going to screw it up, although they screwed up a lot of properties. But I think people are learning. And on top of that, I think Dan Aykroyd has a little bit more creative control of this film to guide it the way it's supposed to be. And I trust Dan Aykroyd for this. For this. And I know it's going to be great. I know it.
I'm just really excited that, first of all, it ignited a re-interest in the Ghostbusters toys to make them skyrocket in fucking price. But then Kenner did the Kenner Classics, and they're doing the Ecto-1, right?
I want that back. I want that.
And I'm excited for that.
I think they got the Ghost Popper up at Walmart. I was kind of tempted to get it.
I thought about it. I thought about them.
It has the little standees.
They did. I thought about them. And the other thing is, I swear to God, they better put out High C Ecto Cooler again.
Yes.
Because if they could do it for 2016, they can do it for 2021, my friends.
And keep it. We need to keep Ecto Cooler. So I don't know why they stopped it. I don't know why it was discontinued. It's like the best High C. It makes no sense.
No shit, right? Anyway, Scar Joe sues Disney over Disney Plus releasing Black Widow for premium subscribers. What do you think about that, Brian?
I think they kind of have a point based on the way your contract is structured for that, but it doesn't really affect me that much. I mean, yeah. I don't know. I had a pretty lukewarm reaction when I read what it was about. It makes sense in a way because like if it's costing her, because of the way they released it, which it wasn't supposed to be released that way. That's
same thing cool. With Emma Davis, because Emma Davis, I think, is that her name from Cruella?
No, Emma Stone.
Emma Stone. Emma Stone is thinking about the same kind of thing right now from that.
She should, to be honest, for me. I mean,
because there was so they're
supposed to renegotiate contracts when there's changes.
Yeah, well, ScarJo had signed a contract where she was going to get basically box office royalties, right, or something like that. Yeah. And then they released it streaming, so it kind of hurt where it could have performed. Yeah. And obviously the pandemic just hurts that. Any movie being released now, it's like it's a tough situation, I think, for companies to be into right now, like of how to release these films. Like we got a Bond film that they still want to release, and there's, if you look at the release schedule, like Jay Strick was pointing this out to me, it's about to be like every week there's a big pop culture film coming out. Right. I've enjoyed going back to the theater. Obviously other things have come into the way to like hinder it for other people. Things are getting out of whack or whatnot. Brooks, probably the first time you heard that ScarJo was suing Disney.
Yeah. Well, I don't really, to me, it's not like I can just watch Black Widow because I don't have Disney Plus Premium, But I think it'd be fair to, for Disney, like to take some of the profits from those Disney Plus sales and maybe like give that to the actors as kind of recompense for like, maybe ticket sales that could have been.
The biggest problem is when they release it on a streaming service like that, pirates get it immediately. And it's easy for them to get that. And Figure Drawing says Kevin Feige told Disney to talk to her and iron it out before, and she sued Disney. So obviously that didn't happen. But it's a true thing. I mean, like, that other actors in that franchise of the MCU have had deals where they made a lot of money off their solo films. And, it's just an unfortunate situation. First of all, Marvel Studios and Disney should have released this film in Phase 3. Like,
yeah, they should have released this before fucking Endgame.
It should have been right after Civil War, bro.
It should have done it after
right in that era. War. They waited too late to do this fucking movie. It feels like half-assed anyway, and it's almost like this whole lawsuit is now representing how half-assed they treated her. Like okay, first of all, let me just go ahead and say this. I don't care. I know I've gotten some new subscribers because I didn't like the Motu show, but I'll probably lose them when I say this. I like the Captain Marvel film, right? But like, what? Like, it was ScarJo's Black Widow that was like the Wonder Woman of the MCU, right? True. And they tried to force a Wonder Woman into it, right? With Captain Marvel, which was a character that, for the most part, didn't have decades of following from the most people, right? And Black Widow had that following and had it already embedded in the movie. And Black Widow should have been the first fucking female MCU film because she was the heart of a lot of those Avengers films, in my opinion.
She had a lot of red on ledger. And that's the thing, man. This whole situation, I mean, it's really unfortunate for Disney. It's for Scarlett Johansson. For Scarlett Johansson to return to be Black Widow, that bridge is gone if it was ever set up. And it feels a little painful to me because, yes, they should have given her 3 films. She should have had 3 films just like the rest of them. The way Disney Plus is set up and the way the pandemic was made, they weren't prepared to do what they were needing to do. But at the same time, Disney has an entire legal team who knows how to renegotiate contracts and agents, and all these people are involved to take care of their talent. And if Robert Downey Jr. is getting like $100 million or so for his box office take for all the movies he was in being Iron Man, then yes, I think there's a disparity there. And Chris Evans is getting millions of dollars for being Captain America in 3 films, and it's just it's not fair. I don't think it's fair at all, and especially when she is as popular of a character she was. Yet I think they did try to give her money from Disney Plus, but I'm not sure from the premium sales. But it's not the box office take. But the box office take didn't do well because people were streaming it, and they paid Gal Gadot. As far as I know, or from what they were saying, they
Warner
paid
Brothers
Gal Gadot,
did, right?
Warner Brothers paid Gal Gadot for her to have her movie.
Well, that's a weird area to navigate, right, Jelani? Like right now, we're in a position where a lot of people are not wanting to go to theaters or wanting to go out. We have movies we have an audience that is dying for content, you know. So they're releasing it. You know, they don't want to be a backlog, bro. Right. Because who does, right? They're releasing this money. They're releasing this content, right? Like how they're losing money every day on Bond by not releasing it. You know what I'm saying? So like they want to get it out, but how do you do it and make the money that you would make at the theater when the theater is probably, y'all, this is probably, and we've talked about this. I honestly think that this is like going to change a lot of shit, right? I think a lot of stuff has already been
a precedent.
There's already there was already a drag in theater sales, right? There's always been like, just like in the comic book community, we always hear every year about this is the death of the comic book industry. We get the same thing with movies. Like every year is the ticket sales were low, ticket sales were this okay. Like it's the death of nobody's going to the theater anymore. It's super fucking expensive. Blame that on greedy ass theater chains trying to make their money out of concessions. At the same time, though, why are they trying to do that? Because they don't make a lot of money on fucking screening these films. They don't make money on the box office sales. So it goes back to the greedy ass. It's all greed. It's all people trying to make money and keeping somebody else out of it. But basically what's happened is a lot of people are like, we're in a new paradigm now for consumption of media. Like people do it on their phone. People do it on their tablet. People do it at home. Right. And this is a new game. And you're just going to have to figure out how to structure it. I don't know. What do you think, Brian?
Well, I think I feel like the movie industry has been hurting more from online streaming video games and long form television. Because honestly, like
that's what's causing it to change.
I tend to get
right. That's what's keeping people out of the theaters. In addition to high prices, that's what's keeping people out of theaters.
Gigantic TVs and sound systems and all this home theater at their house. They don't want to go to the theater and pay all that money. And I get to eat what I want. You know,
when I was growing up, right? You know, I mean, I grew up before you even could rent movies and have VCRs or anything like that. But even then, like you would have to rent it if you wanted to own it. It was like $80. So, like, if you wanted to see a movie, you saw it in the theater because, like, that was the best way to go, you know, and a lot of that's just, you know, changed, you know, but I do feel like, you know, video games, obviously, you know, we did have, you know, definitely did have those, but they weren't as intense and
or as cinematic, right?
Yeah. But I've always kind of felt like the long form television shows have really, really hurt movies just as movies because like movies are hour and a half, 2 hours, sometimes 4. Yeah. But that's hard to really do like, you know, character development and character relationships or massive casts, which these long form television shows can pull off. I don't think it's just long form television. I think it's the binge idea. The idea that a lot of these companies release it all at once. Yeah. So you could, if you had time, and I know a lot of people that do, spend 8 to 12 hours watching an entire season of a show when it drops, right? Yeah. And Disney keeps trying to go to that week-to-week thing, which I like that because episodic is different to me than the whole story at once. If they're structured that way, right?
Yeah, right. If they're structured that way. I like the water cooler aspect of it. I like being able to talk week to week about TV shows. Movies used to give us just a one and done. We talk about that movie for a week or two. We move on. A TV show we'll talk about for like weeks. Months. Yeah. Right? But nowadays it's not so much. Like Loki's gets a huge hit and spike for a moment, but then it's done. You know what I'm saying? Like, who's watching WandaVision right now? You know, like, it's such a weird thing that's happening right now. And it's that has changed, like, the amount of story you can tell over 6 to 8 to 12 episodes. And that's the thing, is like, is there still a place for all of it? Is there still a place for 25 episode seasons of monster or case of the week in the midst of 8-hour, 6-hour movies, basically, that are being produced right now? And it's causing film to seem less of a significant experience. It's not so significant now to go out on opening day and catch the new Fast and Furious or Star Wars or Marvel movie as it is to just sit at home with your family and for $5.99 or $9.99 a month happen to enjoy 8 hours of an entire story that's able to have the time to develop if it's done well. Umbrella Academy, the movie, would not have been as good as Umbrella Academy season 1. You get what I'm saying? So like if Point Break was a 8-episode TV series today and we never knew of anything of Point Break, that could be really good. They would have the time to develop it out. You know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Brooks, go ahead.
No.
Please, Brian.
Oh, well, I was just going to say the prices for going to the movie theater are off-putting now too. You know, I mean, it's, you know, I mean, it costs more than a streaming service.
And it's cheaper to go to John's house.
Yeah, but his darks, his blacks aren't
black enough. Like a still from Fantastic Mr. Fox?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is.
Is it the one where he has the spirally eyes?
Yes. Yeah. Why is it the first time you noticed this?
John does have a better theater than most theaters.
He does.
I'll be honest.
He does. Oh yeah. Speaking,
he doesn't have as good of snacks though.
How are we gonna watch Shogun Assassin if we're not like if we're watching it Monday?
This is how we're doing it. I watched it today, and I have the DVD, and I'm going to bring it to the Deep tomorrow, and one of you two is going to go get it from me, and then on Sunday y'all are going to hand it off to the other person. Sounds good, right?
Well, let's do it like this, since we're planning this right here. Hey, Brooks, you want to hang out and like watch Shogun Assassin on Sunday?
Sure. What time?
I'm off all day on Sunday, so let's just go.
All right, you guys figured that. Okay,
it worked, and then we can
figure that. Yeah,
we can watch some Robbie.
I honestly was like, I'll invite them over Saturday to watch Shogun Assassin with me, and then I was like, well, Jelani will work. I have a show to do at midnight. I don't know why, but I have a show to do at midnight. I committed to a show at midnight, and then Dylan's horror show, and I thought we could squeeze it in between. And then I was like, I got to read my DC books because on Sunday I committed to Mike to going to see Snake Eyes. So if any of you two want to go see Snake Eyes with us at 1 o'clock, we're going to go watch Snake Eyes
on Sunday.
Yeah,
I guess we could watch it.
Yeah, I'm going
to watch Brooks.
When?
Sunday
1 o'clock.
At 1 o'clock.
Snake Eyes.
And then you guys can meet up afterwards and go watch Shogun Assassin. Yeah.
And you get to see, you get to see all my stuff now, man. I got more stuff.
So that's the movie review.
You want to work it.
That's the movie review for Sunday night. For the Smoke a Bowl, watch a movie. It's going to be Snake Eyes. I'm not looking forward to it. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm not.
Actually,
either.
We were going to go see Green Knight, and I was like, well, no, Jamie made me promise to watch Green Knight with her. And I won't, she's out of town for like 2 weeks. So I have to wait 2 weeks to watch that. So Station Jamie. She's camping out with her son.
So I guess Shogun Assassin's not on any streaming services right now?
It's on the Criterion channel.
Oh, I don't have that one.
I don't have that at all.
Brian, if you can get a hold of Shogun Assassin, join us. That's Monday night.
How the crap?
I could probably rent that, right?
What kind of channel is a Criterion channel?
I don't know. You can probably rent it, but I have the okay, this was Bullseye Bob's idea. He sent me the DVD, and I should have planned this out better, but I just watched it today, but I got the DVD if anybody needs it. But I know it's on the Criterion channel right now, but I don't know if you can, maybe you can rent it on Amazon or YouTube. I don't know. I didn't check that.
Yeah, let me check.
Okay.
I don't know if I'll be able to do the show.
If you can get it, and we can watch it at my house.
Bro, it's really good.
Do that.
Like, I mean, y'all have the
probably
DVD. I'll pass this over. I'll bring it to
That's what I'm
work
saying.
tomorrow.
I mean, I have to work.
the
I mean, I
DVD.
gotta go. I gotta pick up stuff tomorrow in the morning.
Yeah.
If Brooks, if you can get it, and I'll just come get you, and we'll watch Snake Eyes.
Yeah.
And then come back and we'll
Brooks,
watch.
you want to come up to the Deep tomorrow?
Yeah.
I just like forcing you to do stuff.
I might have to do some work in the hayfields tomorrow. It depends.
Okay.
If you have time, I'll have Shogun Assassin and your Bruce Lee box set there. If you want, whatever, it'll be there. If not,
I'm sure I can get a minute to run out to pick it up.
If not, you guys can grab it from me Sunday when we go see Snake Eyes.
I'll tell you what, if I can find a way to get there in the morning, I can get it. I won't worry about it, but I'll let you know either way. I'll let you know if I got it. I can't believe we're having this conversation in the middle of this live stream.
Well, you started it, man.
I know. I'm sorry. Sorry. We're trying to watch this movie, man. We're trying to watch this movie. I'm drinking.
John says, I will improve my snack bar, but we'll change theater pricing. Yeah, and the arcade price is going to go up too, right?
That sounds fair.
Yeah. I'm going to go get free tickets somewhere and bring them over.
Yeah.
I still like the theater experience, though. I like going. I think the one that I go to now, because our theater got tore down, the one I go to now has a shitty air hockey table, but it does have the basketball and it's got the Terminator game. And so it's got a decent arcade selection, decent for a shitty theater. It doesn't have, like, every fucking aisle is sticky as fuck, which means knowing from their business, nobody's cleaning that shit. It's becoming a bit
Carmike.
It's becoming a bit run down, isn't it? The one that we're at now is like we switched from the lowest theater in town to the next lowest theater. But there's probably one more. It's the one behind fucking Super Walmart.
That was closed. That's the one where I live behind. Yeah, it's closed. They closed it. It's an AMC. It's an AMC too, but it's closed. It's gone. Pandemic killed everything. Apparently, they killed chicken livers at freaking Popeyes, man. I love chicken livers.
The one you don't go to, John. The one on Jones Valley, like it's closest to me. I got the AMC pass, so I pay like $20 a month, and I can go see whatever I want. 3 movies.
It's not a rave anymore, John. You can go now.
It's AMC.
You can go now.
Is it AMC or Carmike? What is it?
It's an AMC.
AMC bought. It became Carmike, and then AMC bought Carmike.
Right.
It's so run down, and it reminds me of a 90s skating rink.
But it's still got, I mean, it still has an IMAX theater.
It's not bad.
And you could still.
It's not bad.
I watched Thor there in IMAX.
Apparently, John really hates spaghetti. I don't understand why you hate spaghetti so much. I love spaghetti. I haven't had spaghetti in forever. I'm having spaghetti this week, y'all. I'd make fresh meatballs like my mother.
It's not even the same people anymore. You can come back, man. I go to Monaco and I can't stand it. It's not even Monaco anymore.
I haven't seen a movie at Monaco in forever. The last time I saw a movie there was Doctor Strange, and I fell asleep because I cannot be able to recline all the way back in a dark ass theater. I will fall asleep. I miss Hollywood though, bro. I just miss Hollywood.
I do too.
Rave's got better seats than Hollywood, but it's the same type theater.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Good times, man. Can we talk more about Motu so we can get more subscribers?
Well, they're not gonna. Motu's not tagged in this, but have you had any extra thoughts about it?
For me, I watched it again, and I mean he really, and like before, like in your review, which I watched the review, the review you put out, and it's a thoughtful review. I was there for that whole thing, but in general. That he should have made that first episode the last episode. We really needed to build those characters up. You need to tell me, or in that world, I needed to know who He-Man was again, who all these other people were to begin with. He showed me glimpses. Kevin Smith showed me glimpses of the figures. The action figures that we had in the first episode, but he didn't tell their stories.
There's one figure from that line I do want.
Which one?
You know what it is. What's the one Masters of the Universe figure we never got because it never was even conceived that this would happen?
Oh, Wondar!
No, I'm still hoping for I'm still actually hoping for a Classics Wondar. I'm talking about Skeletor raising the fucking power sword. What did they call him? God Skeletor?
God.
He's
Skeletor?
29. He's $29.99 on Target's website right now. You just get it.
I can't afford
They'll
it.
mail it to you.
I can't afford it
They'll
right now.
mail it to you.
Things are super tight.
I mean, I understand.
Robbie Land right now, but
I
like
understand.
that, I'm just saying that's the one I would want because that's
I don't
like
want that.
that's a
I
dope
don't care.
figure. Like that's a
don't
cool
care.
moment in Motu history. That's
Yeah,
one to me. That's the
sorta.
best thing that show gave us.
You had to kill.
I don't like that show.
He-Man
I ranted
twice to get to it.
ranted for 24 minutes about it. I even cut it out so everybody could watch it on their own. I don't like the show. I still gave it 3 out of 5 you digs because it does have a baller first episode that should have been the last episode of the first season, like Jelani said. And it's got a baller end of the 5th episode. The rest of the episodes, 2, 3, and 4, suck. I don't give a shit.
Sarah Michelle
And
Gellar is unlikable.
I don't give a shit what anybody says. I've had Mike in my ear all week about this.
Yeah, I'm
about
sure.
how you, but I'm like I don't give a shit about this. Tila would not like the idea.
Wouldn't banish Man at Arms.
Well, here's the thing. I shouldn't say should not. I'm just gonna say this. I do not like the idea that Tila, after the death of her best friend and the ultimate like fall of the kingdom, is so pissed off at the death of He-Man because she finds out. It would be like if Lois Lane found out Superman was Clark Kent when he died and then quit the Daily Planet and let Lex Luthor take over Metropolis and just left off to fucking California at Coast City to do her own shit. Yep. Like, it's so bullshit.
Eternia. Like, Skeletor was gone.
If you're going to make
the techno
spiritual successor, if you're going to make a spiritual successor
to
He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, the people are up to He-Man's death. When He-Man dies and he's told, and Randor and Queen Marlena and all the people are told that he's dead.
I never knew that Marlena knew the secret.
She always knew. Third episode of He-Man Masters of the Universe, she always knew. It tells the story of how she's an Earthling who crash landed on Earth. Randor like took care of her and married her and had 2 kids. And they don't explain the 2 kid part. That's Secret of the Sword. But she knew from the 3rd episode. She's like, a mother always knows. Because duh, it's He-Man. Prince Adam is
Prince Adam. Why are you dressed like He-Man?
Right.
That's all it is. Fair, twisted Toy Fair Theater. That's my favorite one. This is
weird.
This is something that Perch from Comics by Perch said that I 100% agree with. And Perch does not give a shit about Motu at all, as much as I do. And Jelani does in particular too. We're a big fan of this. And obviously I've had a lot of comments this week saying like, He-Man's just like a thing to sell toys. Who the fuck are you talking to? Like, yes, I know. Yeah, I've got a shit ton of He-Man fucking toys. Like, I get it. The most interesting thing about Motu to me has always been the toys. No show has ever really fully developed it. I've been watching
let you make your own version of the show.
They should have made the
decide what He-Man's like. Decide what Skeletor's like.
Okay. First of all, the 2000X show or whatever, I've started watching and it's pretty decent.
Good.
It's pretty good. But like you guys said,
Keldor.
The fucking comic books right here, that would be more interesting to me to kind of
see. Kevin Smith wanted to be edgelord. He wanted to be an edgelord. He wanted to like, oh yeah, man, I killed He-Man first, and he even bragged about it. There's like this after show that they have on Netflix. The after show, he's like, I got to kill He-Man twice, and you don't have to do all that, man. Just you don't have to edgelord. Just introduce the characters again.
You're trying to subvert expectation, right? And here's the thing. So Kevin Smith has gotten so a lot of people could say certain people are attacking Kevin Smith. The only reason why that's happening is because he initially attacked Clownfish TV for revealing the leak that He-Man was going to die and this was going to be a Tila show. And he came out and he's like, oh, they're so wrong. They're liars. This is a He-Man show through and through. I don't give a shit. Like, no, this is not a He-Man show. It's a Masters of the Universe show. Okay, I'll give you that. You didn't put He-Man in the title. Okay, yeah, clever distinction, but you marketed every single fucking thing as being He-Man Skeletor.
Yep.
Okay.
All the trailers are the first episode.
Yes.
And you look at it, you're like, why the hell is it the first episode? He lied about all of it. But Teela, the fact that Teela's a show, if you just told me that He-Man and Skeletor die in the trailer, I'm okay with that. I'll be like, you spoiled it for me. But if you're going to turn it into the Teela show, let it be the Teela show in the trailer and tell us that. Don't bait and switch us. Don't lie to me about it.
Yeah.
It's fine.
And that's what happened.
I would have watched it. But
And
don't make Teela an angry bitch. I mean, sorry.
So like Kevin even like did this thing, like this live stream with the guy that did the voice of Orko, and he was like basically he was already confronting people not liking the show on Twitter. And then he does a live stream about it, calls out Clownfish again, and then he basically, the point that I got was he was saying, if you don't like the show, either you don't get He-Man or this just isn't your thing. And if it's not your thing, shut up. Just move on. And I've said this before, and I get it. When you say, well, if you don't like it, just move on. And I get that. This is a passionate fan base, though, and I understand, kind of like a Star Wars or DC or a Marvel fandom, right? It's very passionate, even though the toys are the only thing propping that up, okay?
The toys are awesome, by the way.
So much potential in Masters of the Universe. I was hoping it was going to finally be realized, right? Mm-hmm. So here's the thing. It's so hypocritical of me or to me for Kevin Smith to basically be like, if you don't like it, you should just shut the fuck up. Because this dude made a whole goddamn video about
freaking Tim Burton.
Tim Burton's Batman.
Shut up, man.
Like, he made a career out of fucking picking apart pop culture and making fun of
it. He's us. He's freaking us. And I'm like,
I don't think there's a hope in hell for Clerks 3 right now, bro. I'll be honest with you. He lost a lot of his fans, I think. I really do. Bro. I think it sucks because I don't think Motu is the passion project that Kevin Smith was trying to get us to believe it was for him.
It was a paycheck. It feels like a paycheck.
And that's fine. Just don't like if I made something like, we make videos. People like talk shit about them sometimes. You know what I don't do?
What?
Get into fucking arguments with those people. Yeah. Like if someone tells me they think Brooks is the biggest piece of shit, you should get rid of him. I don't engage in that with that person. I just go, well, that's another person that doesn't like Brooks. Mark that. If it eventually gets to more people that don't like Brooks than like Brooks, I'll change something.
Yeah. I'm so big, I have an anti-fan base.
Brooks, you really like this show. Me and Jelani have been ranting for a moment. So you got any thoughts to encapsulate the whole thing? Because Brian hasn't watched it, right? And you don't give a shit about Motu, right?
Don't care about Motu. Sorry, I'm not into it.
Okay. What do you think, Brooks? Final thoughts for you on Motu. And we're done. We're done, goddamn.
We're going to talk about it. We're not going to talk about it anymore. I'm sorry.
Like I said, I liked it. I don't have like huge expectations on like, He-Man characters. Like, I remember like I said, like most of what I remember of the He-Man is what I fucking made He-Man when I was a kid, Like I remember the cartoon, but the cartoon doesn't really like delve too deep into like character stuff, They're usually like little morality tales for the most part with,
right. They're
with the characters thrown in to like, fill in certain roles. But I liked it. I liked that it subverted expectations, actually. I like it when someone's willing to take a property like this and try something different, go a different route. And I know that like that does tend to rub a lot of fans, old school fans, the wrong way, and that's fine. I think it's fine for Motu fans not to like this show. It is different, but personally, that I kind of don't get too much into any one particular like fan, fandom. I'm not like a super strong fan of any one particular thing. I tend to like kind of like a lot of different things to different degrees.
Bro. If they did a goddamn fucking Neon Genesis remake,
you'd be like
reboot, and they killed Shinji and Rei in the first episode. They killed Shinji and Rei in the first episode. And it was now about the fucking.
If they fucking did something cool with it.
No, and now it's about the fucking penguin.
Yeah.
Pin. Shit, yeah. Pin holds up the power sword. I have the power.
Here's the thing. I don't mind when you subvert expectations on a property that has already lived up to its potential. When you did it with Star Wars, I didn't mind it as much. When they're fucking around with Star Wars, I don't mind as much because Star Wars has been to the peak of what I think Star Wars will ever be.
Yeah,
with those first three films.
Yeah.
Okay, let's be honest. With those first three films, that's it.
It's over.
That's the peak
So
right there.
Stop.
Motu has never hit its potential. That original show sucks. The 90s show sucks.
It's not terrible.
No, bro, it's not good for adult viewing. That's all I'm trying to say. It's good to sell toys.
I like He-Man. I like
He-Man
Master Universe, man. I really like it.
There are
crap.
cartoons in the 80s and 90s that are so far
G.I.
above.
Joe, Transformers. I understand, man. I get it. But He-Man has 8 nostalgia points for me.
Yes.
But at the same,
me too.
And you know how
all I'm trying to say is this. Motu never lived up to its potential like a Star Wars. So don't subvert something that hasn't been able to elevate to like mass appeal yet. Right? Like that's all I'm trying to say.
Okay.
That's all I'm trying to say.
This season kind of felt like the first season of Castlevania, where it's like just a very limited kind of quick run, and
but
like just a few episodes to set up for something like maybe a longer season, a longer story arc down the line.
Castlevania didn't kill a Belmont in the first episode, and then be like, "Oh, there's nobody here to fight vampires."
Well, most people don't have any expectations of the Belmonts. Like they weren't giving a shit. They're like, Belmont, is he supposed
Warren
to be
Ellis should have written freaking Motu. There, I said it.
Oh, okay. We're moving on. All right, we're moving on from that.
I said it.
I think I agree. All right, we're moving on to show and tell now. Show and tell. We're gonna kick it off with Jelani.
Yeah, let's do it.
Show us what you've got.
All right, I told you some stuff.
Is it that turkey?
Well, the turkey's far away. I don't feel like getting it.
Okay.
Well,
have you gotten any more canned beef yet, bruh?
I've got a few more cans. I'm not eating that on camera though. Don't that noise. We'll start off with the easy. So I hated Justice League. It was 4 hours long, but these figures keep coming out, so I want them. So I got 2 I liked. I actually got 3 I liked, but I'm not telling about those. But the first one will be Superman.
He needs a mullet.
Yeah, he does. He really does need a mullet. He needs to be all like changed out and everything. Oh God, I don't ever know what the camera is, but yeah, he's good. I like this figure. I also like the Target variant. And to compare the two, I like them both.
Nice figures.
Those
McFarlane?
Yeah, those are nice.
These are McFarlane ones. Yeah, they both come with stands, but the stand just fell off of this guy. But I saw this one in Decatur, and I was like, I drove out to Decatur for an Uber ride, went to that Target and found it. And I was like, I want this one. And then I was like, I want the black suit one too. So I found the black suit one later. Apparently this was a return, so I got it like for $3. Or I'm sorry, $4. So it was very nice. It was a return and somebody opened. And I was like, I don't care, I'm opening anyway. So I got these two. And then I got we were talking about Motu. I made my own Motu character with the Origins figures because they're so awesome and easily customizable. I made a King Grayskull.
Nice.
You didn't have the dreads though.
No, well, they don't have a dread version. Basically, this is Clamp Champ. This is Clamp Champ with He-Man stuff on it.
Clamp Champ with He-Man stuff on it looks amazing, by the way.
Yeah, he does. And Mike gave me this idea. And I was like, I can have a black He-Man. I was like, nah, this is King Grayskull. Since I saw the Motu. I was like, yeah, this is King Grayskull. And the cape I got from Ultimate Warrior, the Masters of the WWE universe. So I was like, I got a cape. So he's got a cape. I like this figure a lot now. Like I'm gonna buy another Clamp Champ so I can have a Clamp Champ. But that's pretty clean to me.
Nice.
And then All right, my excitement, which you guys probably won't be excited for. So there was all this crap about G.I. Joe crap. And G.I. Joe finally decided, or Target and Hasbro decided to re-release some of the exclusives that people couldn't get. So I finally ordered mine. I finally got another Viper. And I'm getting like 2 more probably in the mail. I'm slowly getting these. This one I will open, and then the other 2 I'll keep in the box. But I really want some Vipers because these are the best Trooper figures that they made so far. They come in the backpack. He's freaking awesome. He's got so many looks.
That's cool.
You can put like a freaking bandana on him and all this other crap. I love this figure, and I'm glad I got to buy it again. And then also, I just wanted another one of these in the box. It's the Baroness, and I can't really show it, but I got the Baroness on the cycle. I finally got these in the mail today. These were my excitement, along with my turkey and White Claws, and my Danny Moore beef stew. And then Mike hooked me up again and got me Snake Eyes, the Commando Snake Eyes, and Timber. And I put the angry dog face on him. But
the Timber figure is dope as fuck.
He really is. He's super posable. And he's got all of his stuff, but I love this. I had to add this knife. This is a Valaverse. Well, you guys don't know about Valaverse, but they're like the competition for G.I. Joe classified figures. They're coming out pretty soon, but they're giving me a Sergeant Slaughter. But this Snake Eyes is clean as crap. I need a different head for him. He doesn't look right to me because he's got a square head at the top. And it's a repaint of that beach head. But I really love this figure. I still love it. And Mike gave me a bike for him. Thank you, Mike. I really appreciate this.
It's a Punisher bike.
It's a Punisher bike. So I have like 3 of these now.
They work for anybody. And like almost all those figures.
Any figure I can put this with. And that's all I got. I'm sorry. It took too long, but that's it.
That's great.
Thanks. Good figures.
Team says that is freaking awesome. Speaking of freaking awesome, Brooks, show and tell. Show us what you've got.
I only got a couple of things. I haven't really picked up much new in a while, but I was looking on my shelves to find like a book that I think would fit with the movie, and I saw The Max.
Nice.
And I was like, that seems appropriate.
Push it to the max.
Max!
Sam Keith Gold, baby.
It is Sam Keith Gold.
Yeah,
Image Comics.
It's one of the early Image books that came out back in the day.
In the 90s.
One of the weirdest, well, undoubtedly the weirdest book.
It is.
Now, I remember like when the Image craze first getting into comics, so my best friend was like specking on a lot of this stuff. And like,
why are you specking on the Max?
And he was like, he was like, check out the Max. And so I read the second issue of the Max. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
I got into the Max for the MTV animated series.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was good.
It was weird too.
Yeah, it was. It was.
Yeah. William
It should have been Neon Flux and shit.
Go figure that the guy that
trying to say.
Go figure that the guy that co-created and co-launched the Sandman with Neil Gaiman would create a really weird, psychedelic almost Image superhero in the 90s.
Yeah, it's like the Max just does not fit in with like the rest of the Image heroes, really.
No, he doesn't. No.
Because like he's a homeless guy who has like delusion. He has like hallucinogenic dreams of going to the outback, and I don't know. This is a very it's a very weird comic.
Mouse monsters.
I need to give it a reread, see if I can like maybe process it a little better now. But I did pick up something the other earlier today. I got this little She-Ra and Swifty pop.
Nice. She-Ra.
Like Walmart exclusive. It doesn't glow in the dark though.
That's dope though.
Yeah. They did She-Ra right though. I like the She-Ra show on Netflix. That's awesome.
Also, I found this.
You know what? You know why we like the She-Ra show? Because it's about fucking She-Ra.
Right. Exactly. They killed She-Ra in freaking first episode. And like,
this show's all about Bo.
It's all bow and glimmer. Shira
glimmer.
dies in like the second episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd be like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, I also found this coin. It's like it's a 2-pound coin. I guess it's like that's British.
From Brit. Okay, I was about to be like, does it weigh 2 pounds or is it?
I don't know
Oh,
which
it's a queen
it is.
on it.
Who's got the queen?
The back is like a bird. Like, I don't know if that's supposed to be a dove or a
What
pigeon.
queen
or what.
is that? What queen is that? Elizabeth? What?
That's
Who
Queen
is it?
Elizabeth, man. Queen Elizabeth II. She's always on the money.
She's
Yeah,
like,
it's Elizabeth II.
are you telling me that the current royalty, king or queen, is always on the money?
No, it's always Queen Elizabeth.
Maybe.
She's
Can you
always
imagine
on
money with like Joe Biden and Donald Trump's faces on it?
Well, I'm just trying to say, like, if when Queen Elizabeth eventually, I mean, come on, listen, come
Yeah,
on.
really?
When it's eventually a new royalty, like when it's a king or whatever, like, are
They'll
they going to
put them on
change
the
the coins?
It's like, anybody still gonna care?
Yeah, likely.
Like, why does
Probably
anybody
they'll put
still
the
care about the royal family?
That
It would be Philip.
You got to sell tabloids, bruh. But in Britain, it's a way different thing. There's this weird thing there going on there. But like Brooke said, that would be weird. Like, what if like Joe Biden all of a sudden was on every quarter we had was either Trump, Obama, or Biden or Bush?
You'd hear
Wouldn't
about
that
it
be
on
weird?
Facebook.
You would, or Twitter. You'd be like, we got to boycott these.
I'm not going to use money anymore.
Not my $5 bill.
They're going to buck the system.
All right, show and tell. Beat some fucking British money, bro. Brian, you got it. Show us what you got.
I got one thing I picked up this week, but I was going to talk about 2 books I read recently. I finally got around to reading the Slaughterhouse-Five. Originally, a sci-fi book by Kurt Vonnegut. It's the one that kind of launched him into the public eye. And it's partly based on his experience as a World War II soldier. He was actually at the firebombing of Dresden, which they don't teach you about in most of the history stuff. So, because I didn't find out about that until I read this book. And I read this book originally, like probably 25 years ago. And Kurt Vonnegut's one of my favorite writers because he uses science fiction as a literary device, but his books are, pretty deep and they're dark, but then they're also funny. There's like this constant, undercurrent of humor, going through with all the dark stuff. And it's, it's really, really cool. But this is like, it's a comic book adaptation by like Ryan North and Albert Montes. And it's like its own new work, really. I was able to, I was reliving some of the stuff from the book and everything, but it's very masterfully done, like using the comic form and everything. And it's I don't know, this is really solid. I definitely would check this one out.
Nice.
And then I read another adaptation. This is City of Glass by Paul Auster is the original writer of it's from a book called the New York Trilogy. And it's like existential stories about writers that basically become detectives. I wasn't expecting it to be that existentialist and that deep. Each story isn't very long. They're about 100 pages each. And they are the first one, which is City of Glass, is super intense and interwoven, and it just takes you on this really, really interesting journey with the characters. And Art Spiegelman wanted to create a series of he hated the term graphic novels and all this stuff, and so he wanted to create a series of books that are based on literary books. And I'm not sure if more were made from this series, but he got David Mazzucchelli to do it with another guy, Paul Karasik, who was one of Art Spiegelman's students. But I read the book first, and then the day I finished it, I sat down and read this in one sitting. And it's David Mazzucchelli doing it, and a lot of it's almost entirely 9-panel grids.
Oh, wow.
Obviously you combine some of them, but the techniques he used in it, it's just like, a lot of folks say Watchmen you can use to kind of show all the different things you can do with a comic book, but this, you could use this too. This is I don't know. I was thinking about this like pretty much 4 or 5 days after I finished reading it. It's really cool. And
really, Robbie? Really? You're good, Brian. Continue.
Okay. But yeah, David Mazzucchelli, he's more known for doing Batman Year One and Daredevil Born Again, which obviously phenomenal works. But I guess he got tired of doing the superhero comics and wanted to do stuff like this. So yeah, I don't know. If you can get a copy of this one, it's really good. And then the thing I bought this week is this Cain and Abel. It's a collection of comic strips, and I'll be honest, I mainly bought it because of the guy holding the lube. That image just stuck with me, and I had to bring it home with me. And it's this cover is a pretty good representation of what's in this book. These guys, it's two different guys doing different stories, but their art style is, I've always loved that 60s, 70s kind of, almost Kirby-esque. And actually Kirby is in this. They actually have a section with Jack Kirby and Stan Lee and stuff. It's pretty cool. So I don't know. That's what I got.
That looks very good.
Very nice.
Thanks.
Very nice.
Sorry.
There's
Did I go
a
on too
mute
long?
button? No, bro. Nah.
I thought I had the mute button.
There's
pressed.
a mute button, and you're all like,
Okay.
I thought the mute button was muted when whatever. All right, for me, I'm next. Show us what you've got. I did. Mike got me this Iron Man. This is from Iron Man like 300. That's like one of my favorite Iron Man suits. So that's a cool Marvel Legend. But I do think that the Toy Biz version is a little bit better. But that's just me.
That's good.
But
They both look good.
they do.
It
So
needs to
thank
be
you.
gold.
Thank you,
It needs
Mike.
to be yellower.
Yeah, it needs to be
Yeah,
more
dude.
yellow. I opened this
on
one up
armor.
Sunday night. That's my Jazz. Right there. Haven't transformed it yet. I got to do that in the next day or so. We watched a movie about surfers tonight. So this is a close to a surfing figure I have. I have a Mondo Gecko. He's a skateboarder, right? From Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But there is a TMNT figure that is a surfboarder, a surfer, and it's Genghis Frog right there. With his little board, right? So that's cool. We watched a movie by Catherine Bigelow. So I want to show off my Hurt Locker. That's a great movie. She won
It's a great
Best
movie.
Picture for that, right?
Yes, she did.
My favorite movie by Catherine Bigelow is Twilight. Oh, my bad. That's Near Dark. I got confused by the cover. That's Near Dark. So there you go.
Blood transfusions
Can I
from
borrow that
cows.
Yeah. Speaking of movies, got that in recently. It's Sean Cunningham. This is one of the movies he did right after Friday the 13th. It's A Stranger is Watching. Got this in this week, just released from Screen Factory, The Dead Zone.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
I like that movie.
Cool.
Yeah.
that
With the
was good.
slip, y'all. With the slip.
With the slip.
With the slip, y'all.
That's right, son.
With the slip. All right, we watched a movie with Keanu Reeves. Last week, I showed off my foil editions of Berserker, which is a comic book co-written by Keanu Reeves. I forgot to show off this version of number 3.
Nice.
I love that.
Oh,
Right?
that's clean.
Is that Raphael
Number-
Grandpa?
You finding these foil covers, man.
So good.
And I work at a comic shop.
Yeah,
And
I
it, number 4
What are you
came out.
doing to all these comics, man?
Number
Where'd you
4
find
came
this
out
stuff?
this week. There's the grandpa foil version there.
That is really
This
awesome.
stuff is so
But
good.
the one I really like is this Christian Ward one.
Whoa.
Look at that.
It's like John Wick
Uh.
with like more battle armor.
Yeah, I'm really,
Yeah.
really pumped. And the last thing I want to show
John
off
Wick,
is
Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
I've been getting into Image in the 90s in particular, and Homage Studios, what Jim Lee and Mark Silvestri did when they first were combining their talents. Out of everything they did, Wildcats, Cyber Force, Strike Force, whatever, Death Blow. This is probably their highlight is the Homage Studios
Damn
swimsuit
straight.
special.
Damn
So-
straight.
Yeah, there you go. So
That's
that's
some
my
good drawings. Those some excellent drawings.
that's my show and tell for tonight.
Art.
Yeah.
Hey,
I didn't get it.
it was thematically tied in together because Point Break has a woman in a thong, and there you go. Right? That cover is
Statue.
Pull it together.
that's a
Yep.
Jim
Get
Lee
it.
cover.
Synergy.
By the way.
Yep.
And then there's Mark Silvestri right there. But here's the thing:
changed, bro.
everybody
You
wants
changed,
to
bro.
everybody wants to hate on these swimsuit specials, right? Everybody wants to hate on them, be like, "Oh, it's just this and it's just that." Let me try. First of all, we got a centerfold of Boyd. Look at that.
All silver.
All
She can teleport.
She's still wearing it. Okay, but here's the thing.
She can teleport me anywhere.
You guys remember the character Winter from Stormwatch?
Yeah, Stormwatch. Yeah. He's sexy.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that.
He can get it.
Bruh.
Yeah.
Then we got Adam Hughes on the next page with Voodoo. So, yeah. There you go.
I even put some writing on it, it looks like.
A naughty book. Anyway. That's the show tonight. So thank you so much for joining us. Next week, like we said, join us for a review of Face Off with Perry from Perry Comics. But tomorrow night is Dylan's horror show, Creep Show. Join us for that. Link in the description. Shogun Assassin, Monday night. All right, Brian, final thoughts.
On the movie or just in general?
Yeah.
Thanks again for having me. I did enjoy rewatching Point Break. And I did watch the Endless Summer documentary afterwards because I was wanting to watch Step into Liquid, which was a documentary made by the guy's son that did Endless Summer. Step into Liquid is a much more fun documentary to watch because Endless Summer was made in the 60s and it was limited by 60s technology to the point where he would actually have to cut some of the surf because he didn't have enough film and everything. And some of the humor was wouldn't be okay today, I would say. But I watched all that and I love watching surfing. But I guess my final thought is, I can't surf.
Charlie don't surf. Brian don't surf. And I thought you know.
I love surf music too, though. Like the Merman, Dick Dale. Love that stuff.
Oh yeah, man. What about a little about Man or Astro Man? How about that? What about you, Brooks?
Man or Astro Man.
Final thoughts.
Push it to the limit.
Past the point of no return.
Past the point of no return. The Point Break.
But never go for the safe.
Never go for the ball.
Your ass.
And don't show your ass, especially your entire asshole.
Don't show your ass.
Yeah,
Speaking of assholes, Jelani, final thoughts.
Motu could have been better. The world is a lot better than it used to be. I'm glad you guys are here. I'm glad we're still doing this thing. Hug your friends, hug your family. You never know what's going to happen in the future. So I'm glad we're here doing this positive thing still making it work. And I'm very proud of all of us and especially the PCP Army. You guys keep it up. We're gonna be so much better as we go forward. So I love it. Let's keep doing it.
Hell yeah, man. Let's keep pushing it to the limit, but not as much as Bodie pushes it to, right?
Let's not rob banks. Yeah. Don't go for the safe.
We really appreciate you all for being here. Thank you so much for joining us, and just live life free and loose. Hang 10 when you need to, and we'll keep getting better as long as you promise to keep getting better. And
oh, he's doing a bit.
I'm doing a bit station, y'all.